there's a passion that's required. Like, you can't just go out and decide to film something if you're not passionate about it, because it won't translate on camera. You need to be invested in the subject matter. I think that's the most important thing. Telling a story, scratching beneath the surface and not just getting pretty pictures. It has to be a story. Yeah, my name's Dave Shaw. I'm a cameraman and producer of an adventure outdoors TV show. I did have concerns early on in the piece about creating a hunting show, just because of the nature of what hunting is and not being a hunter myself and growing up in an urban environment. There's so many positive benefits to the sport of hunting that outweigh the negatives tenfold, and I really enjoy being part of that process of educating people about those positives. By filming and producing and editing the show myself, it means we have full control over every stage of the process, so nothing's really lost in translation between what happened on location and what goes to air.
Everyone's looked at the health and safety checklist that was sent out. Sweet, no one's got any concerns, qualms. We're not live TV, so 90% of what I shoot won't be used, so I don't get hung up on trying to do perfect delivery, just real short and sharp.
So we're lucky in New Zealand. We live in a very diverse country, and some of the places we've been lucky to go to, you've got to treat those locations as characters because they have their own personalities. You love it and hate it sometimes. You love it most of the time, but every now and again you hate it. And on those wet days where you're cold and hungry and the animals aren't playing ball and you've got 3 more days living in a tent and you think to yourself, what am I doing? But then when it does pay off, it's the best job in the world. You wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Some of the best footage I've ever filmed is put the camera in a high-risk scenario, and there's a payoff there that if footage comes through and the camera's unscathed, then fantastic.
Well, yeah, getting a little shot here because unfortunately my main camera carked it in the wet weather we've had today, so I'm hoping that a bit of rice and half an hour in the oven might get it back to life. So just needed one more shot of arriving at the end of the day's journey, just to kind of close out on the scene.
So our show has become quite synonymous with slow motion and drone and time lapse and some high quality cinematic footage. I personally love putting the drone in the air and getting big, wide expansive shots that showcase the type of terrain we're in, where often there's no human man-made structure for miles and miles. Likewise with time lapses that give a sense of scale, a bit of movement in the time lapse, showing passage of time and how certain environments can just change in the blink of an eye, from being hot, dry to wet, cold, muggy, and a time lapse over the course of a 30-40 minute run can do that, and it's actually a very effective storytelling tool. We put a lot of energy and effort into getting those shots because we understand how important they are to the viewer, and sometimes it's at the detriment to the actual hunt itself, but the guys understand that it's an important part of the big picture. Personally, for me, the most important part of the show is the journey. It's not the pulling of the trigger or the action or succeeding. It's showing what it took to get there and what happens after the fact. And that's what resonates most with viewers, I think, is that hunting is, if you hunted just for that moment of pulling the trigger and the half a second that it took for the bullet to hit the animal, then you're missing the bigger picture.